afternoon, collectors and friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to this month's edition of Leighton's Loft. It's kind of odd to say that, Lou. It does feel this time it's been a little bit longer than a month, even though I know it's been a month. It feels like a long time.
I know it has been a long time, but baseball's back. We're all excited. We got a lot going on. I know you guys have a lot going on.
Yeah, and the NFL draft has just transpired. The Jets just traded Zach Wilson. And oh, by the way, Zachy just figured out from the Denver Broncos that his last year at 20-something million is not guaranteed, and he's so shocked.
Yeah. I don't know who's more screwed up at this point, though, the Jets or the Broncos. The Broncos, they got something going on. I don't know what's going on out there, but they seem screwed up, too.
Yeah, I think, listen, on paper, the Jets are supposed to succeed, this year. But they were also supposed to do that last year. And then, of course, 4 plays into the season, it could all shake.
Yeah. Well, you can't control that. That's not a Jets thing. That's just life in the NFL.
Absolutely. What's shaking, Mike? Really appreciate you tuning in. James and Nikayla. What's up, Preston?
You excited for the Jets? You should be excited.
I am, but I think it's the old age or the older age setting in where I'm just not as delusional as I used to be. As far as like it could all just be going your way, and even still, there's just so many things out of your control. But yeah, of course, listen, I want them to do well. I have all these different visions, Lou.
Well, that's a really good roster. They have a great quarterback. The division is vulnerable right now. I think Buffalo's vulnerable. I think that Miami's vulnerable. The Patriots aren't very good. So the division I think the division's up in the air.
Goes to show you, as good as Josh Allen is, I mean, they couldn't keep the top receiver. And I'm not saying he's at fault or what's his name, Diggs is at fault. It just goes to show you that it's really challenging to keep a good thing going in the NFL. That much more respect to Brady and what they did up in New England for all those years.
It's just so tough in the NFL these days. And that's what of course, the Chiefs are kind of doing the same thing. And, you got to give them credit. The Chiefs are so much. I don't mean it's the way it's going to come off, but the Chiefs are so much like the Patriots. And I'm not saying they were the model for them.
No, they most certainly are.
But they have all the same earmarks that the Patriots had in the middle of that run. They really do. That's a special team.
Agreed. Thanks for tuning in, Daniel. I appreciate it. What's up, Cuff Daddy? So I've been traveling the last few, not weekends, part of the weekend, both weekends. I was, a few weeks ago, I was in Strongsville, Ohio for an annual vintage sports card show. I saw Daniel there. And then last week, I was in Toronto, just a few minutes from the airport, at a big convention center. It's the semi-annual Toronto Expo.
Semi-annual, okay.
Yeah, it's twice a year. And I was up there for the spring one. Apparently, I had been there, and I knew it was a couple of years. Someone alluded and said maybe it was 10 years. And I'm like, can't be 10 years. Lou, I don't know what's going on. I'm still, it's under further review, right? It's still with the refs. I'm not sure that they're right. But nonetheless, it was great. It was wonderful to walk around. I got to see some old friends. And I also got to see what happened with that convention, which really was teetering on the verge of almost like extinction back in the day.
Really?
And now it's actually expanded well beyond the main room. It was just really nice to see and be up there.
Toronto's a great town, too. I love Toronto.
My hope, Lou, which of course doesn't always work like that. Look what happened with the Jets. But I'm going to be able to go up there. The convention starts on a Thursday. I'd like to go up there next time on a Wednesday and stay for a night or two in downtown Toronto.
Yeah,
I've been in the Hall of Fame once, but go back to the Hall, check out a cool restaurant or bar, scene, and just like sightsee for half a day or a day.
Yeah, it's a terrific town. I often equate Montreal as New York and Toronto as Boston. Montreal is very cosmopolitan. Another great town, by the way. And the Wild West in terms of zoning. You have strip clubs and pinball parlors.
Montreal's insane. I've been there for a bachelor party, Lou.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a great town, though.
So you think Montreal is more comparable to New York, and you think Toronto is more comparable to Boston?
Yeah.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, well, Toronto's kind of neighborhoody and a little bit older. Montreal is very cosmopolitan, very modern. They got a lot going on there. It's a great town.
Absolutely. What's up, Ken? Thanks for tuning in today. What's up, Chris? So if you're not following me on IG, because Chris Cuff that I was saying, I've been showing up some nice stuff on there. You can follow me. It's Leighton_Sheldon. Also have a Just Collect Instagram account and a Just Collect Facebook account as well. Public service reminder announcement here that we have our big event for Just Collect ending this Sunday, May 5th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're giving away thousands of dollars in vintage cards and other prizes, break credits, and we're actually giving away, Lou, a PlayStation 5 and an iPad. So we really have a lot of stuff going on this Sunday. It certainly behooves each and every one of you, even if you're not going to be buying anything, just to tune into the chat. You're going to have a chance to win some great, great stuff.
Yep, that sounds like fun. Cinco de Mayo, huh? You got it going on.
Yes, and it's on my calendar. When is Cinco de Mayo?
It's 5th of May.
Oh, wow. It could be very interesting in the office here. So I'm curious out there over the last few weeks while I've been traveling. Let me know in the chat. Daniel, I know you went to Strongsville, but did you go to any conventions after that? For the other folks who are tuned in, I'm curious if any of you have been to any conventions locally. If you have, please let me know. I'd love to learn about maybe a convention or two that I haven't been to yet.
Have you done this Fenway show up here? I just started hearing ads for it again for this year.
Yes, I've been to it, but the Fenway show, I just want to be clear, I think it is. Oh, hold on. I thought I wrote it down. Yes, I forgot which weekend it is. I put it down. If I don't have Cross, I'm going to try to go. Okay, so Daniel's next show is the National.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it. Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one this year. It is actually going to be in Cleveland, which is not that far from the Strongsville show. But of course, at a national level, you're going to have lots of people that were not at the Strongsville show be at the National. And, pretty soon, Lou, probably, maybe the next episode of The Loft, we'll talk about the National a little bit more.
Ooh, it's already that time, huh?
Yeah, it really is. Only a few months away.
Yep.
So, very much looking forward to that.
Have you been to the hall up there, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I have, once again, for a very brief amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, you like to do that. Pop in for 15
I don't usually like to, but I fit it in, while doing other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to sightsee for like half a day. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we do have our big Vintage Breaks event ending this Sunday. We have a special guest tuning in this Friday live from the office, and that's not counting Chris Gilmore. So like I said, tune in this weekend, and we're going to have some fun stuff going on. I'll be in all day on Sunday as well as on Friday as well. And we have some really interesting products we're rolling out. We're announcing a bounty today on our 1952 top set break, which only has 97 spots left. So we're hoping to close out in the next few days, Lou, so we can give away the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 1. Hopefully it'll find a new home.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we just always got to do Mickey Mantle on this show. There's always 52 Mickey Mantle going on.
There is. It seems to serve us well. Lou, I wanted to show off a few of the items I picked up recently, and in particular, start off with the ones I really haven't showed off anywhere else. So, if I may, do I have to click something, Lou, or that's you?
Oh, that's me.
Great. So, I've been trying to buy some more vintage hockey for my PC. Shout out to my friend Justin and my friend Mark Chuteau, who runs Classic.
Wow, that classifies as vintage, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, this is from the 30s. I mean, this is effectively like a 33 Gaudy set, but for hockey. So this was called the Canadian Gum Set. V252 was the designation. And if you look at the bottom, it says save these letters because these were used for prizes. People actually cut this off. So a lot of these cards can often be found with the bottoms of it cut off. And so I like this example for a few reasons. One, it's a whole card.
Mm-hmm.
Two, even though I can see a bit of the staining here, for the grade of 4 out of 10, it really is not out of place in like a 5-ish, 5.5-ish holder. If you look at the colors, the corners, and even though the centering is a little bit off top to bottom, it's almost perfectly centered left to right.
Right.
And the back is very clean.
Look at
Meaning
that.
there is no, the staining doesn't go through the back. You can read all about Morenz in either English or, I would imagine, Canadian/French. And so I just think it's a really cool card. I do have a few other, this type era of Howie Morenz cards in my collection. And I'm not necessarily buying them because I think that they're undervalued per se. I just think that they're affordable for what the equivalent baseball players would cost. I'm not saying that's right, Lou. That's not what I mean.
I understand.
So for me, I'm enjoying the fact that I can buy the top player of the era. And, Vezina's cards was about 20 years, George Vezina, the all-time goalie great, and the one they named the trophy after of, his rookies in like 1910, 1911. But, Morenz has a bunch of cards in this wonderful pre-war 1930s era. And I mean, listen, I'm not saying, I don't want to misquote, but I bet you this card costs about $1,000, give or take, a little bit less, a little bit more.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's chump change because it's not, but I believe that the same card of a Gehrig or a Ruth
sure
is going to be multiples of this. And so I get enjoyment of owning it. I do think it happens to be a reasonable, buy/investment. And if I decide to sell it, I feel like vintage pre-war hockey of Howie Morenz is pretty liquid.
Yep. I'm just astounded how these cards can survive so long to that degree. I mean, this is 90 years now.
You're right. And I personally have seen many a card from the set be not only just more worn, but have the A cut off.
Right.
So I just appreciate that the card is complete. It's a reasonable grade, meaning 4. I actually do think it does look a little bit nicer. But I'm curious, guys, is beauty just in the eye of the beholder? Do you guys agree? Do you think this card looks a little bit nicer than a 4?
It's nice how it sits in that PSA packaging too, because obviously it color codes up, but it looks nice.
Yeah, I dig it. I'm curious if you bought any old hockey for yourself recently. And just to be clear, because we're going to now talk about the Toronto Expo show, and I'm about to show off something else, Lou, but I guess I'll keep up the Morenz while we're chatting here. So
well, and Chris Brown asked the questions. He needs to talk about some vintage hockey. He went to 37-38 OPC series for $60 a piece.
Interesting. So you can find reasonable deals for vintage hockey. So I wanted to comment. I'm not saying, and by the way, I own a Bobby Orr rookie. I own a Gretzky rookie. So this is not like I'm trying to talk down on cards I own. But gang, I was at the show for about 48 hours in Toronto. And I'm not exaggerating. I absolutely saw well over 100 Wayne Gretzky Opeachy rookies. And for Bobby Orr rookies, not counting the test, I probably saw dozens.
Oh, wow.
And so I can't say I looked in every corner and turned over every rock, but I was looking for Howie Morenz cards. I was looking for early pre-war hockey of major guys like Morenz, and there just wasn't that much. So what I'm saying is twofold. Number one, it did a lot for me that I feel like I'm having fun buying these cards, and then I might be buying something. I'm not saying it's a great deal, but at least it's fair, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
And, number two, they're not so easy to find even when you go to Canada. So if I'm going to Toronto, which is arguably the Toronto Expo, arguably the best sports card convention that they have up there, albeit twice a year, and I'm seeing just oodles and oodles of Bobby Orr and Wayne Gretzky rookies. And as soon as I go back to the Gordie Howe era, the 50s, I didn't really see that many Howe rookies. And I certainly saw less Howie Morenz cards and the like, like Eddie Shore, etc. Lester Patrick is more like the Vezina era. But I didn't see that many cards, from those eras. And so I was very, very happy. I bought this card from an auction. I didn't buy it at the Toronto Expo. But that's my point, is even in the land of tons and tons of vintage hockey, I just didn't see that much pre-war hockey.
Yeah, and hockey has a very similar history to baseball. It can go back that far, and it certainly means that much in that country. It's just this is the debate all the time. It's the balance between investment and collecting, right? Because it's a beautiful collector's piece. May not be the best investor piece, but it's a beautiful collector's piece.
Yes. So, I'm curious, have any of you dabbled in any vintage hockey of late? And if so, what you picked up would be awesome if you shared it in the chat. I see here, I'm just going to show it off. because we had never done this before. But I know Daniel and other likes or other people like him that collect vintage might be interested in something like this. So we just offered yesterday a T206 Ty Cobb hit random repack. And effectively, Lou and gang, it's 100 spots. Excuse me, it's 70 spots, pardon me. And this is the big hit. Every other card, other spots, the other 74 spots are like a vintage card, baseball card from the 50s or 60s, most likely a common, etc. But for the price of $100, you have the chance you might get a common, but you have the chance to get in on this T206 green portrait SGC1 of Ty Cobb. As you can see, pretty clean back.
Yeah.
And, we're not going to be doing a T206 set break anytime soon. So we thought this is a fun way to bring a great card as a hit random / repack. You might say, like, what's the difference? Now, the hit random is kind of the way that we've done it before, where, we put the cards, whether it be it's 50, 175 cards, we number them and then we just randomize the list right on camera. What we're doing here, we thought would be an added twist, similar to what you see other breakers do with repacks. They put all of the cards for that respective break in different envelopes, but in one of the 100 envelopes will be the Ty Cobb green. And so it adds a little bit of, let's be honest, we're in the entertainment business also. Right. It adds a little bit of drama. So on one of the envelopes where you think we're going to pull out a common card from the 50s or 60s, lo and behold, we're going to pull out this, and someone's going to walk away with this for the entry price of a $100 price tag for one spot. Now, of course, if you buy more than one spot, your cost will go up. You'll increase the chance you have to win.
Yep.
That's a story for a different day, kind of what style you like. But as Sam said, he goes, if I didn't work here, he's like, I would buy a few spots in this. So would I. That's how we knew it was a good break.
Yep.
Because it's a great card, and we're not doing a T206 set break anytime soon.
And how many overall spots are there again?
75 spots.
Oh, nice. That's great. I love those odds.
Yep. So it's very cool. And of course, it's one of the most desirable cards from the T206 set. In fact, of Ty Cobb, who has 4 cards in the set, this is his most desirable card. And let's be honest, this card for a 1 really wouldn't look out of a place. I wouldn't say 2, but definitely wouldn't look out of a place in 1.5. It's a very nice 1.
Yep. Good color, decent centering. It's got the crease.
Yes.
That's about it. Yeah. And the back is nice.
Nice card.
Yeah.
So check that out. That was just listed yesterday on our website at vintagebreaks.com.
James says he got a stack of Mother's Cookies hockey card in the collection.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, another thing I wanted to show off was something I recently got back from PSA, and I've really been into exhibits a lot. I'm curious if any of you guys out there are collecting exhibits as well. But I long have desired the Satchel Paige, which is a little bit of a short print in the 47 to 66 exhibit set. And it's always fun to put a card in your collection, Lou and gang. I mean, at least I think, I'm curious what you guys feel, that you have both procured yourself in ungraded fashion, and then you graded yourself. You were patient. You finally got it back. I don't quite remember the corner looking like that, but to be fair, if it was a little bit nicer, maybe the card would get a 4, not a 3.5. But I do think it has nice eye appeal for a lowish grade card. And of course, it is unmarked on the back, which I like. But I really dig this Satchel Paige card.
They have a lot of specialized holders, don't they?
They do. Oh, excuse me. So I'm curious out there, have any of you started to tackle the old, excuse me, I almost said old judge, you'll see why in a second, the exhibit set? You're going to see that there are a number of cards from that set that are much tougher to find than others. And in particular, the Satchel Paige has been, one that's been on my, want list for a while. I feel like I had maybe a 1 a long time ago or 1.5, but then I sold it because it was going for good money. I'm not sure, Daniel. Honestly, I barely remember sending it in. I would be lying if I said otherwise. I don't remember. But I'm just happy to have it back holdered.
Would there be an advantage to going SGC?
Some people believe it looks better in the holder, and I wouldn't argue with that.
Fair enough.
I might have been thinking, Daniel, and once again, just throwing it out there, I submitted it with a bunch of other exhibits. Some of them did get as high as a 5.5 or 6. And I felt like some of them, Daniel, might have been the toughies. So I'm just thinking aloud here, Lou. My thought process might have been, hey, if I get a nice grade on a card someone needs for a set registry set that they're doing of exhibit cards, that doesn't really exist on the SGC registry. I wanted to make sure I can get the best price possible. But if you said to me, would I be upset with that Satchel Paige in an SGC holder instead of a PSA holder? No, I wouldn't care.
Right.
So the last thing I wanted to show off, just because of time constraints today, is I wanted to show you an item I bought for my PC from the Strongsville, Ohio card show just a few weeks ago, Lou. And how cool is this?
Oh, look at that.
A little bit, I'm not sure they would do this ad today, but it's an ad for Old Judge Tobacco. Say, boss, give me Old Judge, and no fooling this time. And then he's basically hitting him with a stick, saying, take that. And next time I send you to the store, you'll bring me the Old Judge and no other kind. So I was talking about this very briefly on Leighton, on my podcast, Trading Card Therapy, last week. Yeah. I just didn't get a ton of time to talk about it. They're not getting away with this ad today, Lou. There's just no way.
No, they're not. No, absolutely not.
No.
You don't get the tobacco I want. I get to beat you. No, they're not getting away with that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was super interesting. But then also on the flip side, how cool is this? It's, a figural ad, and it's for Old Judge baseball card cabinets. If you want a full photographic collection of your favorite baseball players, notice 2 words, you can easily get them. You'll find a printed slip in every box of Old Judge or Gypsy Queen cigarettes you buy. On return to us with 25 of these slips or 25 covers of boxes in which no slips have been packed, we'll mail you prepaid an elegant cabinet photograph handsomely mounted of any baseball player in club uniform you may select from our printed editions. Wow. In this way, you can get photographs of every player of prominence in any club in the country. What's so interesting is, of course, the better names. I don't know all of the cabinets that have players in the set, but I'm sure some of them are like King Kelly, Cap Anson, etc. Well, all of them are probably much easier to find than some of the commons. It wouldn't surprise me, Lou, if some of the common players from this set actually go for a great deal because no one was really sending away for them.
Right. Have you ever seen an example?
Oh, most certainly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I hadn't seen this before.
Yeah. No, that ad is great.
Yeah, so I'm curious, folks, have you seen any ads that are vintage ads, either in a magazine or ads like this recently at your card store, at a card show? I would really love to know in the chat. Please share with me, or of course you can DM me on Instagram or send me a message on Facebook. Email me direct, Leighton@justcollect.com. And as one final remember,
there's just so much going on there. First of all, he sent the kid to buy the tobacco for him, and the guy sold him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then he's hitting him with this. It's just funny.
It's funny. Oh, it's hysterical.
Yeah.
So, once again, I want to remind everyone of the few new breaks that we have listed on vintagebreaks.com, as well as our big event concluding this weekend, specifically Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in. You're going to have chances to win a PlayStation, a PS5, vintage cards, break credit, and, of course, hang out with all of us. And Mr. Gilmore's coming up from the South, so we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in today to Leighton's Loft.